Hello, welcome to our channel. We appreciate each and every one of you. We're here. We give you the news in 20 minutes so you can make adequate decisions about your future. You need to know what's going on in 20 minutes, not 10 hours. If you watch the mainstream media, you'll never figure it out because they've never told the truth since the beginning of time. I remember as a newspaper boy, when I was 11, 12, 13, people were complaining about the local newspaper line. So anyway, Trump is preparing to call out the National Guard nationwide. We've seen, for example, our taxes go from $1,200 a year for the house and $600 a year for insurance. Now it's $10,000 per year for property taxes and $4,000 per year for insurance and taxes. You see, when Farmers Insurance and all the other insurance companies raised their prices, the state of Washington tacked on 100%. A 100% tax on the increase. So now we're paying $4,000 a year for taxes on our insurance, which is beyond insanity. They've got to support the illegal aliens. So now a retired couple who retired in 2000 and was paying $1,800 a month in property taxes and insurance, which was outrageous at the time, is now paying $14,000. And in 25 years, their Social Security has gone up zero because the cost of Medicare has gone up to pay for the illegals. All 100 million refugees and illegals. So the state of Washington is still supporting them. So as our taxes go up 500%, well, our investments haven't gone up 500%. I'll tell you what's gone up 500%, and that is the freeze-dried food that we bought. And the gold has gone up 300%, and the freeze-dried food we bought has gone up over 300%. So, you know, there's a passion I have to tell the truth about what's going on, and there's also a passion, an instinct inside of me that says advertise for those people you believe in. Noble Gold, Get the Tea. I use Get the Tea every day. Now that's salmon oil. No pain. Well, there's still pain, but it's not like sharp and disabling. I advertise for IMMUSIST, Simply Clean Foods. I still talk about Coach Jimmy K, Uncle Harry's, and sometimes Amos Miller. You know, I just bought these from Uncle Harry's, toothache relief oil and clove oil, because clove oil is in toothache relief, and when I get a toothache, I brush my teeth with the toothache relief from Uncle Harry's. You just go to Uncle Harry's, and my teeth don't hurt anymore. And sometimes it's just a localized thing that hurts for a day because I ate a piece of popcorn that got stuck in the thing and blah, blah, blah. If it's more than that, reach for the ampicillin and an emergency visit to the dental office. But anyway, I have a passion to tell the truth and to let you know what's available to you, both from an investment standpoint, a food standpoint, so that you can feel better and be excited about living. On to the news. Sales are down everywhere. Perfume sales are down. Lipstick sales are down. Normally in a dip in the economy, lipstick sales and perfume sales go up because the women want to look the finest to attract the billionaires. Not anymore. Everything's falling apart. Rite Aid, Walgreens sued out of existence and not paid the money. So Walgreens and all the small pharmacies, I just talked with a pharmacy owner up in Buckley and then another in Bonners Ferry, Bonners Lake, just kind of north and west of here. Anyway, they'll order a bottle of something, you know, costs them $20. They sell it to the customer for $20, but Medicare is supposed to pay them $200. Well, Medicare doesn't pay them. So all the small pharmacies have been put out of business, while all the large corporations, the one built with steel girders, a place to prepare food, and two yellow cement markers, backed by two yellow cement markers on the wall, so that you can put a California split rim U.S. Army Combat Engineer tire there and break it apart and change the tire. Those buildings, Walmart, I don't think Kmart was one of them, Walmart, Lowe's, Home Depot, Kroger, Fred Meyer's, their pharmacies are getting paid the full amount as the government shuts down CVS, Walgreens, Rite Aid, and all the small pharmacies across the country. Because when they buy a product for $20 and they sell it for $20 and the feds are supposed to pay them an additional $200, the feds do pay them the additional $200. That's why when I buy a $50 inhaler from a private pharmacy and then buy a $50 inhaler from Costco, the Costco pharmacy gets another $150 from the federal government to keep them in business. So we are subsidizing the large businesses. National socialism, baby, Nazism. That's what it's all about. Supporting big industry. Trump's got a problem with that. And companies like Cracker Barrel are owned by BlackRock, the CIA, Larry Fink, a Jew who works for the CIA, but he's not Jewish, he's a Satanist. So don't get Jeweryism confused with Satanism. Because all the leaders claim to be Jewish, but they're all human sacrificing Satanists. That's what the director of the UN says, and that's what the head of the Lucifer Trust says. And if anybody shuts me down for that, I'll sue the snot out of them, go to court, the judge is killed. And the reason I'll do that is because I'll prove that the UN director didn't lie. I'll subpoena those directors, play harp music when they try to come into the court system. Yeah. Anyway, companies like Cracker Barrel put in the most libtard CEO, and she's now destroying 660 restaurants, just like the CIA did to Joanne Fabrics, and just like they did to Bed Bath & Beyond. They bought it out and shut it down. And so to counter this, Trump is laying off hundreds of thousands of people, but he's not laying them off fast enough. DC's gone underground. We know that. We've seen the videos. So he shut down USAID, Institute for Museums and Libraries, Consumer Finance, Protection Bureau, AmeriCorps, which is nothing more than a funnel for the Democrats, HUD, Small Business Administration. You know, white males can't get into any HUD buildings. So why have it? Small Business Administration won't give a white male a loan. You try it. U.S. Department of Education, FDIC, is firing a lot of folks who are funneling money into the Democrats from the FDIC insurance fund. Tulsi Gabbard shut down the Foreign Malign Influence Center, which was creating computer programs to censor people on YouTube, which is government owned. But Tulsi Gabbard never took the FBI out of YouTube. So the U.S. sponsored, listen carefully, the U.S. sponsored YouTube, it's totally U.S. sponsored, you pay for YouTube, is still paying FBI agents to censor people. And the FBI director, Kash Patel, trying to look like he's important, said, oh yes, Russiagate and the FISA courts and the Mar-a-Lago raid on President Trump's residence were all political hits. That's where the FBI put their hands in the underpants drawer of Melania and went, the FBI is so filthy, she threw out all her clothes. Why not? They're in there with their hands in the underpants drawer going, These FBI agents are perverts from the get-go. So anyway, Kash Patel, trying to look important, still has not pulled the FBI out of YouTube. So like I say, when that 35 kiloton firecracker comes into DC, you want to make an impact? The sewer holes, manhole covers to the west of the White House, go down in there and find the underground base tunnels and go about 10 floors down and place that thing there. And you'll take out a few government agencies and that'll make an impact. But right now they're just planning to leave it on the streets, 1.1 mile north of the White House. We've already posted what's coming. Trump actively has arrested, he's activating the National Guard in all 50 states. He started with Kentucky, Virginia, I think one of the Carolinas, and now D.C. He's moved the National Guard in quietly. But unlike the Democrats, he's actually given the National Guard real bullets. The Democrats want the National Guard dead. But Trump's moving him in to do something. So the Republicans arm the National Guard, the Democrats kill the National Guard, the demons, the Democrat National Socialist Party, the Democratic National Socialist Party. That's on their IRS paperwork. Democratic National Socialist Party. The demon-run National Socialist Party. The demon-run Nazi Party. That's the Democrats. It's in the IRS license. And Washington and I General Washington had a vision of the United States going from coast to coast and the cities then burning. God showed me that the cities would all be occupied by illegal aliens and destroyed, and the cities would be destroyed. What's happening now is grocery stores, well, most businesses are moving out of the inner city. There's no penalty for crime. So a dog groomer, okay, nobody's stealing anything from a dog groomer, maybe a brush or two. But a jewelry store, they're robbing them without impunity. The restaurants that are run by Mexicans, you try to rob them, they'll mass on you and kill you. They're still doing well. The smaller grocery stores run by Americans, oh, don't touch the burglar. Don't touch the man who's stealing from you. A lot of these robberies are sponsored by the FBI. They go in and they steal the digital cash register, so the store has to go all digital, no more cash. That's FBI sponsored. I've talked to 3 business owners who had a break-in and all they stole was the cash register, no money. That's so they have to go all digital. That's an FBI sponsored robbery. They're nothing but terrorists and thugs. Who do you think's bringing the firecracker into D.C.? I could tell you where it came from, but why? Nobody in the White House is listening. So in these libtard cities, we have electricity and we have water, but the water contains not only sometimes dead bodies and toxic waste, it contains fluoride. Yes, some of the dead bodies that are dissolved are then dissolved and put in the formula where the water goes into. And there's toxic waste put in those. Fluoride is considered a toxic waste. So toxic waste, fluoride, is put in almost all the waters across the country, and fluoride levels have reached a pandemic level where everybody's stupid. So the city council of my own city has mountain mist water, which now has fluoride in it. Why? Because the city council of my city is stupid and the county council is stupid. So they're drinking fluoridated water. Why? Because it makes them stupid. The only security we have is through private security. Grocery stores have left en masse. Right now there's a lawsuit because Kroger's pulling out of Everett, which is a big intelligence community underground. But the intelligence community has forced the destruction of law enforcement in Everett. So everybody's leaving. And there's no foreign investments. They take away your constitutional rights. The judges are all satanic priests. They do human rituals like the one above Stillicum where they kill a child every month. Right above the Stillicum Ferry. There's no law enforcement there. It's the law enforcement that protects these people. And they're the ones who make up the laws. So the cities have broken down into absolute, pure, communist, satanic states. And Trump is going to, instead of doing what God asked him to do, he's going to call out the National Guard. Good luck. Or as they say in Russia, President Trump, Udachi. We wish you the best. We pray for you, but God has left you, and you can't make a decision for God. All you can do is call out the National Guard, which may not be a bad thing, because as this magnetic anomaly goes beyond the sun and starts blasting Earth, we may see a whole lot of earthquakes and earthquakes and volcanic eruptions. They're already beginning to accelerate as it heats up the sun. Anyway, God bless. Thank you very much. We appreciate each and every one of you. You are the salt of the earth. We try to keep this under 20 minutes, and we'll see you tomorrow.